Comcast.
60 minutes is all it took.
If only. This movie is over 2 hours long. Also, Universal really doesn't want me to slam them for X seconds of logos. But sticking the narration over the logos is still a sin, right? I don't even know what to call that. Logo-oration? Narrow logos?
The weak perished, and the strong grew ever more powerful.
America. She's got more double-sided tape on that scarf than Miley used on SNL. What if Transformers were entire cities? Green light. Are you a studio president though, dude? Or just my fellow stoner friend? Literally does not matter, bro. This movie's getting made. Super unfair odds. This is like Eminem challenging me to a rap battle. This is Godzilla versus Bambi right here. So how exactly does this work? The city is laid out normally, but then when they need to move, it all folds in on itself to make it easier for transportation? Fine, but where do all the people go? And how would you know for certain everyone is out of a building when it begins transforming? I get that people should know better, but let's face it, most don't. So how many people get crushed every time this has to happen? Wow, Hugo Weaving turned down Infinity War because he was making this instead?
Small Bavarian mining town powered by C-20 land engines.
Barely enough fuel to last us a week.
How is there enough fuel in the world to get the Predator cities through a day? My SUV gets 19 miles to the gallon if I'm lucky. So what would this get? -5? Honestly, seen better CGI in the openings of Civilization games.
They're gaining on us. Enter the silos. All of them.
Ah, the old drop all our food so we can escape and we'll deal with starvation later maneuver. This movie thinks it's Steampunk Mad Max Wild Wild West Entire City Edition.
Don't worry about me. We're about to lose our American deities.
I know there are so many ways I could go with this sin, but honestly, the stupid money made from the Minions is probably what got this f***ing pile greenlit. So the deity angle, in a weird way, checks out.
Give me everything you have.
If he's been giving you less than everything until now, his ass should be fired and maybe beheaded. This works. Oh no! After several minutes of bouncing and plowing through hills and rock and dirt, something finally broke.
Take the shot.
You mean they could have done this the whole f***ing time?
You're already on your third warning. This is your last.
In this universe, baseball players get 4 strikes, and games are now over 6 hours long. Even I know not to trust the writings of anyone named Nimrod.
Luckily, I got my man Matthew there.
This is wrong. Unless Matthew is advanced and speaks English and consented to this. Otherwise, it's torture, right?
This is what I wanted to show you.
The opening credits of an 80s sitcom?
How can a society so advanced, so scientific, be so stupid?
Thing I wonder aloud every day in real life somehow makes it into the movie.
We come across dangerous tech that's in way better condition than this junk all the time. Now I've noticed pieces have started to go missing.
So he knew to close the door for privacy, but spat out the sensitive information before he closed the door? The hell?
You're just a skivvy from the lower tiers with no family and no prospects.
If there's one thing you can count on from dystopian post-apocalyptic teen fiction, it's a harsh social class system. Also, skivvy from the lower tiers was my college girlfriend's favorite position.
If I'm late, the gut workers shovel everything into the furnaces.
All they care about is feeding the beast.
Isn't that what everyone should care about? Fuel keeps the city on wheels moving. Without the fuel, they would just be, well, a normal city on the ground. Why are we moving these cities around like this again?
Be aware, children may be temporarily separated from parents.
Well, as long as you warn them in advance, I'm sure they'll be okay with it.
I've read all your books.
I've read your books cliche. Yes, this is an official cliche. You can blame Hunt for Red October, Jurassic Park 3, Goosebumps, and more.
That is a fusion inverter cell.
Oh.
They're playing with fire.
The Universal accounting team's words of warning about this film made it into the script. Even money, he only sees her because of the bright red scarf, which stands out in the place where everyone else wears grayscale clothing.
This is for my mother. This is for Pandora Shaw.
Pandora Shaw? Why not Spotify Hobbs or iTunes Toretto? No one stops her! Oh, f*** off forever, dude. She survives the Chainsaws Galore. Also, Chainsaws Galore is A, the name of my Tim the Toolman Taylor-inspired metal band in the 90s. B, the only sex move I could ever get my college girlfriend off with. C, a spicy Albanian cola drink. Or D, the in-store nickname for Home Depot's annual power tool sale. Is this a movie or a goddamn video game? Valentine is still pursuing Hester? He just had a 6-inch blade shoved through his gut. He's not Agent Smith. Or is he? Hester survives so much bull here that I'm just adding 15 cents.
She said you murdered her mother.
Discount Elron, just little fingers, not Logan Lerman.
It's all right. I'm okay. I'll be okay.
It's true, he will be okay. That girl really botched that murder attempt.
I thought Maybe she was an anti-tractionist.
Ah, yes, the people who hate traction. My guess is that this is the movie's term for people who are against these mobile attack cities that use massive metal traction belts to move around. But anti-tractionist just sounds like you love spinning out in the mud or holding foot races on a track made of grease.
Then why do they hide behind the shield wall hoarding their resources?
No clue. I don't even f***ing know what a shield wall is or what resources they're hiding, and the movie doesn't seem to have any interest in telling me either. How elitist is the London Museum to have 3 different classes of apprentices? He survived because he landed on a giant pile of potpourri.
6 months it took me to get on that city. I had 1 shot at Valentine.
Wait, what? You were trying to get on the city? The entire opening of this movie was us watching Hester try not to get captured by the city.
Thaddeus Valentine, the great archaeologist.
Thaddeus Valentine in The Last Crusade.
Zipped. No more talking.
It's like Jon Snow and your grit alone together in the snow, only somehow more boring.
Thirst will kill you before hunger.
Sure, but poison and dysentery will kill you before thirst, so... Ah yes, the post-apocalyptic film's favorite treat, from Zombieland to Wall-E, which are also 2 much better movies I'd rather be watching now.
I like the quiet.
I grew up with the sound of engines. I've never known anything else.
So you 2 are opposites then? Because nothing up until now has suggested you were any kind of odd couple.
I thought you wanted to be an aviator.
Oh, I did. But then my parents died.
And I found this old film called The Aviator, about some guy who tried to have sex with the lead singer of No Doubt, and then just holed himself up in a hotel room for a while. I think he drank his own urine, too. Then I just lost interest and developed a taste for 90s ska.
Do what?
We're not going to tell each other our sad stories.
Okay, but you are legit ripping off Jerry Maguire here. 10 seconds of flashback dreams so useless I almost thought of a word for it, but then it faded from memory.
What the hell is Southeast?
Scabs and a night hunt.
This movie is 85% question and answer.
Are you in one piece?
Man, I haven't seen a film try so hard to be a Terry Gilliam film and fail since The Brothers Grimm.
That's gonna leave a scar. You don't need any more of those, do you, Peter?
F*** off, lady. She's hot.
Why would he do that to Tom?
Because he got in the way.
Billboard of the villain's agenda conveniently pops up when the villain's daughter needs to see the truth.
There's no way in.
There's a way in.
Here we are, then. It's not to the Lord Mayor's sweet at the boggy readers, but it's better than a poke in the eye with a burnt stink.
Sadly, the same cannot be said for this movie. Look, the way this f***ing graboid machine has been moving, this room should be rocking so hard that no one would ever think of knocking. But instead, it's just calm and level, and almost like it's not inside a moving bug machine.
I was 8 years old when my mother died.
Even though Hester said she had no interest in sharing her life story with Tom, and he has done 0 since to get on her good side, and has in fact made things so much worse, she's now comfortable enough to start sharing her life story.
The last of the Lazarus Brigade.
Yay! More I'm gonna have to look up later and still not be able to understand this movie. Ah well, I'm sure much of this will be explained in the sequels. Sequels. I didn't know this was part of the DCEU. I hope Hester and Tom find the mother boxes before Discount Ghost Rider does.
What are you waiting for? Go!
Well, considering you've been a real towards me and I haven't been much better to you and we have 0 chemistry, I think I'll stick around and go through this with you because we're clearly meant to be together.
Time to check out, folks.
Oh god, he's a bad guy, said no one who has ever seen a movie before. 11 cuts in 10 seconds. That's a modern action scene for you. Dodging CGI is hard, man. Oh, f*** you. God damn it, enough with the Jesus jumps. Also, I would bring up Hester's leg injury, but clearly the movie has forgotten about it. Sudden red flying contraption ex machina.
Get on!
If Fang had that in her back pocket the whole f***ing time, why didn't she just rescue Hester and Tom as soon as they got there?
Cat! Strike. Saved my life.
Oh god, another flashback. Should this maybe have been 2 movies?
The living must eat.
Man, I would rather die.
I think he had a family once.
Yeah, once. I died while listening to you tell this long-ass story.
I will remake you as I was remade.
So we'll just go ahead and add Frankenstein to the list of other movies Mortal Engines has picked apart and added to its overly complex narrative structure. Perfect reenactment of the breakup of my first relationship.
Where are we going?
Have you heard of the Cat's Cradle?
Meanwhile, on 2 characters I forgot existed and don't give 2 shits about.
Whatever it is they are doing in that church has nothing to do with God.
You could say this about a lot of churches, honestly, but I get your point.
Not bad. You've done this before.
Yeah, a bit.
And I thought the ridiculous diver plot point in Bumblebee couldn't be outdone anytime soon, but here we are with Tom's childhood dreams of being an aviator conveniently coming into play. That ballsack looking thing is a discount Cloud City. And discount Lando Calrissian. Seriously, this movie isn't even trying to hide this shit anymore. Hey, he just took that guy from Twilight's pen.
History doesn't care.
and is dead.
I once said this exact same thing to my American history professor in college. I then got pulled over by the cops and they found 2 bags of cocaine under my passenger seat. I would like to say that it was my history professor teaching me some kind of lesson, but nope, it's my cocaine. That's what you get for living near that much helium. I don't even know how you got that much helium, by the way, but that's what you get. I would be a lot more invested in this fight if I had any clue what Shrike's abilities and or powers are. He appears to be beating ass, but I don't know why. The ship is still intact. It's a miracle of screenwriting.
He can't die. He can't.
Jesus, lady, you've known him for 2 days.
This belongs to you.
Since that ends up containing the key, I want to point out that this movie's resolution hinges on Tom helping Hester, Hester falling in love with Tom, and Shrike being freed from prison by Valentine so he could hunt down Hester, realize she's in love with Tom, and give this back to her. Well, Shrike is dead, and I'm super sad about it. Let me just tell you how upset
For centuries, traction cities have attempted to breach the wall.
Really? Because we haven't seen evidence of this once. All we've seen so far is a predator city trying to take down a mining facility. Other than that, this whole city on wheels part of the story has been borderline irrelevant.
We strike first.
This is a very Star Wars moment. We strike first before the terrible new death weapon can get here and murder us. This movie is all the Star Wars. And while they power up this Death Star here, I have to point out that they haven't even test-fired this thing once. At least Grand Moff Tarkin blew up Alderaan to make sure his was working.
Tom! Wait!
She wants Tom to wait, but he is not Tom Waits. He is Tom Keeps Walking.
What have they done?
What have they done? V for Vendetta did a whole television broadcast about this attack and the new Medusa weapon. It was everywhere. How did you miss it? Well, thank Christ she saw this girl praying and decided to walk over and eavesdrop, because otherwise, game over, man.
Now, Twix.
Her name is Twix. Phew, everyone we care about survived. Thank goodness.
The crash drive. My mother gave it to me.
That's great and all, but you still have to find a way on to London and then into the church and through the guards to get the key in the machine to shut it down. I realize this will happen, but it doesn't make it any less stupid.
Where's Tom? Tom?
Yeah, I better pick out a cool aviator jacket. Like there's a timetable currently.
Once we go in, there's no going back.
Really? You can't just go back out? There's not a force field on that city, is there? This seems like terrible dialogue designed to raise the tension. I would like to think Tom is now regretting those wasted seconds picking out the jacket, but he probably isn't. F***ing Tom.
Nils! No!
Nils, no.
What signal? How will I know?
Trust me, you'll know.
Just tell her what the signal is. She went toe-to-toe with Shrike earlier, and this guy is just a government official. She should be deading his ass instantly.
Firing will commence in 45 seconds.
It's always nice how these doomsday machines let you know how much time is left before they kill you.
2, 1.
Just had to take it down to 1, didn't you? Did you learn nothing from Galaxy Quest? Also, she's the hero because her mother bequeathed her a flash drive. I guess it's not whether you are bequeathed the flash drive, it's whether or not you choose to use that bequeathed flash drive. Bequeathed. Look at Tom flying the plane by himself. You could say he's flying solo.
Tom? Tom, is that you?
The person who I met for the first time a few days ago, but somehow able to recognize his voice in a moment of crisis such as this?
I will kill you.
Will? Why haven't you already?
You let your guard down.
The movie could have ended just fine, but no, we have to do this extension. This ship escaped certain death so many times in ways I filed a complaint with the Screenwriters Guild. They're a little busy at the moment, but I'm sure I'll hear back eventually. He died, we get it. Why spend so much CG money and time on this extended crash sequence?
I'm coming with you.
Great. What was your name again?
Try not to rip it open, because it makes a very handy storage case for your tools until you need them again.
Mr. Valentine, what have we got?
Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious.
And in their desperation, they turned to a man they didn't fully understand.
We should go... that way.
Those tracks head south.
Now, Twix.
So, without further ado, I give you the candy lineup.
I have to warn you. I've heard relationships based on intense experiences never work.
Give me everything you have.
I'm giving her all she's got, Captain.
Normally, that would be enough to make me self-pollinate.
Threw up in my mouth a little bit.
This is my boomstick.
You cling to the past.
I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur, a relic of the Cold War.
I am Groot.